back to another episode of Day Dot Sports. As you can see, this week I'm going in alone. Tom's a little bit busy this week, work things, house things, all sorts of stuff going on. So you do just have me. So I'm going to rant and rave for the next, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, depending on how long I can go. Before we do jump into the highlights of last round, tips, predictions, footy news, whatever else, make sure you do hit the like, subscribe, hit that big Jake Turbo button, that like button, that thumbs up button. It goes a long way to support. As you can see, the Daydot Studios, aka my spare room at home, is starting to slowly transform. Hopefully get some cool shelf in and whatever else in here. Plants, a little bit of reno, you name it. Going to try to make a little bit of something of it. But before we jump into the recap of the last round, I did just want to chat about a little player, just a little player. aka one of the greatest props that we've ever seen, probably the best in the game, Payne Haas deciding to play for Samoa at the end of the year, or at least he's going to be playing for Samoa over Australia moving forward. This one scares me, not gonna lie. That team is starting to really come together. They're looking at they're considered tier two or whatever, but I think we all know that they're very much upper echelon with those players that they got at this stage. And considering if Big Tino, if he decides to go ahead and play for Samoa as well, just forget about it. That forward pack would just be ridiculous. Their backline, everything like that is just crazy. But good old Big Pano to make that call come out and kind of, I think it is going to start really leading the way. Hopefully, it doesn't create too much confusion when it comes to like Origin time or whatever else. But good on him. Righty, so with that, gonna jump straight into the recap of round 24. Just a couple of the highlights. Mostly the games that I watch, the ones that excite me. The other ones where there's just either a pumping or teams that I don't really like, we're just gonna jump over those. Thursday night we had a grand final rematch in Penrith versus Storm. This was a classic type of match between these two. Real back and forth, grindy sort of contest. And it really went down to the wire exactly how we like it. I thought Penrith, I was waiting at so many opportunities for Penrith just to slot it. You got Nathan Cleary out there, Mr. Iceman, Mr. Field Goal from anywhere sort of thing. And he just never really got the opportunity to slot one. So went on into Golden Point. What's it called? Xavier Coates, though, he had a very similar play as last week. Ended up like smashing out into the backfield. I forgot if it was off an intercept or not, but I'm seeing all these Penrith players chasing. I'm just like, poor, waiting for all these hamstrings to go like it did with the Brisbane Broncos last week. But they didn't run as hard. They did not chase as hard. Who was it that got him in the end, though? Wasn't Jenkins. Whoever ended up nearly running him down, that was some pretty impressive stuff as well. And then you got to the Harry Grant stuff. So you kind of got the good and the bad with Harry Grant. So for starters, Harry, you're a wizard because some of the stuff that he's pulled off, particularly of late, just been outstanding. Um, but there was obviously the field goal attempt that they had where Nathan Cleary essentially got the ball slotted at happy days. Looks like they're on, but the referee straight away, blowing the whistle, and just said, nah, 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 nah. You're coming back here. Moses Leota, he's obstructed Harry. This replay, crazy sort of stuff. Like, I don't know, the whole ruling is just like, oh, you can't get in front of the kicker, like whatever else. Yep, sweet, that's fine. But where's Moses Leona meant to go? Is he meant to just fuck? It's going back to Cleary. I'm just gonna run completely the opposite way. Like, I'm not too sure. Like, there's obvious obstructions, but I don't see this as being one of them. He takes a baby step to the left, and Harry Grant looks like he got hit by a freight train. The way that this bloke fell to the ground, it honestly looked like one of the soccer players, when they take a massive big dive trying to get a penalty. And I get, yeah, sure, playing, trying to bend the rules. Storm have always been really good at that. You got to do what you got to do, but it's just shocking, and it is definitely starting, I think, to like leak into the game a little bit, where you got players playing for penalties. And I get that, yes, there's a part of that it's smart. It's going to get an advantage to the team. We saw that, I guess, with Moses a week or two ago, where he ran into Jeremiah Nanai. Wrong place, wrong time. But this one was just a bit crazy. And I think Nathan Cleary came out even saying a little bit after the game about it. But is what it is. Roll them into Golden Point. Penrith don't get the win in this one. Couple mistakes coming off Penrith. I think it was Edwards dropped the ball, just basically handed it to Storm on a silver platter. Um, and then this is where just the magic happens with Harry Grant. So gets the ball, happy days. I think it was Munster out the back, might have been Jonah Pezzett, whoever. People are out the back waiting for the ball. the defenders just take off. They just don't even think at all about the hooker. And this is where it's a bit of genius and a little bit of probably just couldn't believe his eyes what opened up in front of him. He was literally like Moses parting the sea. Harry Grant just goes, "Oh yeah, no worries for me." Bang, little dummy straight through, untouched, not a hand on him, right under the sticks to win it. Unreal sort of stuff from Harry. So yes, is a wizard. Maybe done some kind of more questionable sort of stuff to get there, but hey, they got it done. It kind of hurt me because I kind of want Riff to win that after Storm beat us, but at the same time, it's good because there's a chance of catching up to Penrith now if you're a Broncos fan. But yeah, I reckon he just couldn't believe his eyes had just opened up for him. The next game on the Friday night, I only got to kind of partially watch this one while I was out at dinner. Smashing down a beautiful palmy from Patio there in Paddington, little offshoot of Range Brewing. If you're around Brisbane, highly recommend go give it a whirl. But Dragons. Holy KO. I could not believe it. What is it? Three guys went down HIAs. Two of them basically got knocked out in the same tackle. And then another one got flatlined later in the game. It's like, what in the world is going on for them? I don't think I've seen it like that. That many HIAs that they had to activate the 18th man. You got Terrell Salone in there. You got guys busted all over the place. The Wires, like, you would have thought they should have cruised home easily with that one. But the Dragons, for what it was, like props to them for sticking in there because they were down and out for sure. You would have thought like this is it, like especially losing Fords and stuff, like just doozy. But Warriors, they managed to get it done, sneaking their way back into the four. Roosters, they just pumped the doggies. I'm concerned for the doggies at this time. Like at this point, you're just like, are things starting to fall apart a little bit at the business end of the season? You got Roosters on the other hand; they're really warming into it. I tip doggies. Let me down on this one. Daniel Tupou just went over, bang, bang, bang. Thank you very much for coming, as well as White. Those two just had a day out. So it was three for Daniel Tupou, two for White. Easy money for them. But yeah, the doggies, I'd be a little bit concerned. And not gonna lie, I'm gonna chalk this down to a certain Lockie Galvin. Nah, not only Lockie. I think it was always gonna be a bad idea, but you got Hayward coming in now over Reed. I forgot if he's named this week in the nine or not, but I don't like that. I don't really like messing with the chemistry. If it ain't broke, the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I feel like that's very much gonna be the situation for the doggy. So Serraldo might need to try to get things going, sure, looking forward to the future, but it's like is it going to cost you a premiership? They're probably in a place where they got many of those, potentially in the future, but still, it's like, man. And I feel bad for the guys that are missing out on that one, the guys that have kind of been there through the thick and thin of it, your Sexton, your Reed, whoever else. So, yeah, just one of those. Sharkies, they fist the Titans pretty much to be expected. I don't think anything really out of the ordinary is here. Titans, you never know. They still put 22 odd points on them or whatever it was. So it's not nothing from them. A couple tries towards the end of it, but those are just like, freebies essentially. Sharks turned off the controllers and just gone to bed at this point. But yeah, pretty much just tries galore. One thing that really stood out to me though was the bloody bump that Talakai managed to put on Tino. He's gone up, put a big hit on him. Well, not even a big hit, gone to tackle Talakai and just got launched. Like I've never seen Big Tino get bumped like that. Like sat him down on his ass, had him rubbing his hand a little bit. So luckily, well, actually though, he did get pulled off. I forgot if he came back out, but at the same time, you never see Tino go down like that. So it just shows what Talakai, that bloke is legit made of bricks or something like that. Broncos, they beat the Dolphins. This one had me stressing, had me stressing had me stressing. I like went into halftime, what, 14-14, pretty even sort of stuff, but it wasn't convincing at all. There were some concerning signs. The battle with Hammer and Stags, that was some elite stuff to see. Trey Fuller was doing dirty things at the back. It is just wild that bloke, like, can't break into the NRL team, like the starting side, like anywhere else, he'd just be a run on dude. This week, I know he's named in 14, but it is wild. Like some of the stuff that he can pull off is just freaky, freaky sort of stuff. Safe to say, Stags has continued his ever long hate for the Dolphins. This is our home sort of stuff again from Stags. I've just, again, and I've said it so many times, like massive props to him. He's been criticized, I feel like, throughout his career, at least the last few years, and maybe gone missing, but I feel like he's just been there every single game, getting early ball, destructive, good in defense. Like he had some try saving sort of stuff. Like, leaping up over guys and just in the right place at the right time, supporting. It's just been great to watch. Huge from Stags. But Much as I love Stags, and I'm going to back him week in, week out, a man that is really starting to get my attention on the Broncos team is a little pickup that we've had recently, Ben Talty. That bloke, I don't know. It's just comes off the bench, doesn't make mistakes, doesn't drop the ball, runs hard, tackles well. But I like he's a bit of a Ben Meat Pies Talty is what he should be called because at this point he just likes to come on, score a meat pie. He's scored in just about every game that he's played at this point, and I love it. I'm all for it. He's going to be paying about $2.50 soon because he cannot stop crossing the line. All about the meat pies. Keep it up, Benny boy. Reese as well. He's really stepped up. Obviously, the whole chat about Broncos is what our finals run's going to look like. No Cobbo, not so bad. Like shit, not have him because he's a freaky player. But we got wingers coming out of our ears, so that's okay. But you got no Ezra, so you got Walters in there obviously, and you got Benny Hunt over Rano. Reno, I don't know. Something about this game, it just looked a lot more controlled in a way. Like I think Ben Hunt, and it's not meant in a disrespectful way, but I feel like he plays a lot more calculated, like quote unquote boring footy in comparison to Reno. Like Reno, I feel like in the last maybe year or two in particular is really like he'll try his hand at stuff, which some, when it comes off brilliant other times. But I feel like Benny Hunt just got the ball, kicked the corners, good kicking, did his job well in defense and whatever else. And just kind of allowed Reese to then interject himself in the game whenever he wanted to in that case. And, you know, obviously the line breaks, the try assists, the tries, like Reese was everywhere, the kicks, like he had it all going on. And it was a bit more of a flashback, I feel like, to a Brisbane Broncos like 2023 side where Reese would just turn a game on its head. We would stick with teams, like wouldn't go crazy at the start. And then there'd usually be like that 15, 20-minute window where it was just bang, 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 bang. Like it was always we could hold out, hold out, hold out. And then out of nowhere, just rinse the team. And I felt like we saw a little bit of that. So it'll be interesting to see how we go with the Knights this week. Yeah, Broncos get it done. I would love to see them continuing this roll on the way that they're going. And I thought Dozer, he looked pretty good at 7. Bunnies, they beat the Eels. That's about all I got to say about that, to be completely honest with you. I really thought AJ was going to go over for 3 with Trell out there, but just didn't go. Old Tellus Duncan decided, yeah, no, I'm just going to score all the tries instead on the left side. So, yeah, no passing from him. The old sticky fingers. And Tigers, they upset Manly. I had one eye on this one. I pretty much spent the entire weekend doing flat pack. So, it is what it is. But, yeah, Manly suck. I've been saying it for weeks now. I think the Hello Sport fellas, they've also conceded to this at this stage that put a line through Manly, they're well and truly shot. None, Tommy no legs, ain't it no more. Um, Tula just can't stop scoring tries, so that's at least something. So nice to see him get over. Good if you got him in multis. But for the Tigers on the other side of things, yes, they're not going to make the 8 and they're not going to win the comp this year and whatever else. But I feel like we have seen a dramatic improvement. You see the fans coming back into it. So good for them as well. Like they've had that many shit years, it's not even funny. So something for them to work on. They're going to be able to attract more players. The culture seems better and everything else. Like, kind of get around a little bit of Tigers footy sometimes. It can be a bit shit sometimes, but it's not terrible. And the Cows beat the Knights. Pretty much, yeah, cool. So what? It's just one of those things. Like, yeah, you pump the Knights. Like, righto. Finals hope's gone. Definitely looking forward to Bali already. Yes. Sorry that I keep fucking around with this mic as well. It's like keep falling down. So hopefully it's not too disruptive. Um, this weekend, 2 big games coming up as well for some of our leading halfbacks of the comp. Both Daly Cherry Evans and Dozer are playing their 350 game on the same weekend, which is pretty wild coincidence. Be pretty funny if they were playing each other. Ches, this sounds like reports people want him kicked out and don't even want him playing for his 350 game, which is wild. But if Manly can't get up for that, honestly, I don't know what they can get up for. And then obviously Ben Hunt. I'd love to see him cross over. I'm liking a little a 1-2 combination and a little bit of Dozer and Ben Talty. If you want some money, that might be the pairing. Honestly, but yeah, good to see Dozer. Like I just spoke about it before the season, theorized it prior. Like I just want to see him right wrongs 10 years on, get into the finals, and just be pivotal. And at the moment, with that 7 on his back, he's really got like the opportunity, like obviously if Renault comes fit, he's going to come straight back into that 7. But to carry the team forward into the finals. So yeah, great to see him get to the 350. It's going to be huge. It's a shame that that's not a home game at Suncorp because that would absolutely erupt. But I'm sure he's going to cross over the line and kick it somewhere out into the Hunter Valley anyway. But yeah, very keen for that one. And yeah, these games this weekend, they are pretty saucy stuff as well. So we got basically like a little bit of a finals preview a couple weeks out. So we're a little bit spoiled here. I feel like it's going to be interesting for teams like Penrith. Like they've got a pretty tough run home. What that's actually going to do to them. Like I really can't, I guess, look into it too far considering look, four comps in a row, five grand finals in a row. They get finals footy, but I'd have to look back. I forget, but I swear this is probably one of the tougher runs that they've had coming into finals. So I'll be interested to see how the team does, hold up. But we've got Penrith versus the Milk, which is huge. Obviously, we'll get into the previews of that in a second. And Storm versus Doggies. So massive, massive games this weekend, which has implications potentially on the top four and, all sorts of stuff going on. Milk and Storm, they're pretty safe, but everyone else, things could shift around depending on these outcomes. So it's pretty good stuff. But that rolls us straight into round 25. I cannot believe the words coming out of my mouth, and we've made it that far already. But yeah, Thursday night scaries. What have we got? And again, it is a bit of a scary yank kind of game that I don't really want. Flip a coin on this one, honestly. We got Rabbitohs versus the Dragons. Yeah, honestly, flip a coin. You could get this beer bottle lid right here, flip that, and you know, top side Dragons, bottom side Rabbitohs. You know what? I think it's going to do it for me. Rabbitohs are at home. In Wayne, I trust at home. I think he's going to be more than enough. Keon Kalamatangi, he comes back in, no Trell, and then you got Walker. I think that's named on the bench at this stage. Walker coming back in just opens up that attack like something else. Jai Gray, been playing great. I think the Dragons are a little bit decimated at the moment, but like if you look at both of these teams, they've been two of the most unlucky teams this entire season. If we count the injuries between these teams, you'll get a bit of a picture of how rough it's been for these guys. So if you're looking at the Dragons, they have 12 outs at the moment, which is just crazy town at the moment. And then you got 10 for the Rabbitohs. So you got 22 out between both of these teams. So they are literally fielding anyone at this day. And you got Shane Flanagan in the front row. You got Wayne Bennett on the sting. Like they're literally taking anyone at this point. So in saying that, I'm going to go, like I said, Rabbitohs at home 1 to 12. And he got robbed last week by Talis Duncan, but I think AJ is going to get over this week for one, if not two, but I reckon definitely one. Um, Next one, again, this is one of the huge ones, a little bit of a potential grand final preview. Hopefully not. Hopefully they don't make it this far. But Panthers versus the mighty Milk. I'm just always sticky the Milk on this one for selfish reasons. Obviously, they beat us so many times, Penrith, but I want to see them drop out of the top four. Milk's coming off a bye. I'm going to go with them 1 to 12. I think with this as well. So yeah, want to see them drop out, but this has got a whole lot of Ricky Stewart right and fuck him all over a whiteboard in the dressing room coming up against the Penrith Panthers. Like, this is a real chance to show that they are 100% like premiership material. And then you've got the Penrith Panthers trying to really prove themselves now, like I said, coming into this, business end of the season, trying to prove that they are also contenders and can hang with the big guys. Because a lot of people are saying, they haven't had the toughest kind of run for the last few weeks. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting this one. But I want to see Sticky down there. He's gonna be on the sideline chewing a hole in his jaw, gum flying all over the place. But yeah, I can see the Milk turning up big time in this one. Apparently the Panthers, it's just like, are they really gonna be there and abouts this season? Like it's crazy, but I guess we'll see. Storm versus the Doggies. Again, I kind of want Doggies to win this one just because I have a somewhat of a hate for the Storm, I suppose. But I do think Storm are going to get it done. You got Money Munster named at fullback again. Oh, that's hot. Um, which I think last week they definitely looked a little bit clunky, particularly on their left side edge without money there. But they've had another week to build on it. I'm sure Bellyache has picked out, various different things that didn't work out for them last week. At home as well at Amy Park, Doggies, they're going to be looking for a bounce back, but it's pretty much a tough gig when you're dealing with Storm at home. Down at Amy Park is just, always going to be a rough time. So I'm going to go Storm 1 to 12 in this one. Xavier Coates. I think it's going to be a tougher week for him. I don't know who's going to be matching up against Xavier Coates. Should be Jacob Kiraz, who's, no slouch in the area either, but just the amount of ways that they manage to attack with Xavier Coates on that left side is just crazy. I suppose that Munster, but he can still get his hands on the ball and kick, no worries at all. So I'm going to go with Storm in that one. Manly versus the Finns. Somehow, Manly are the favourites in this one, which I don't understand. Yes, they're playing at home, but God, they have been shit. I don't think Dolphins, outside of getting thumped by the Roosters, like they were in it with the Broncos there for a little bit. Yes, they let it slip, and I just don't think Manly has the same attack. Like Tommy No Legs ain't doing the same stuff that he did in 2021, which Reece Walsh can do. So I feel like that's not really going to be too much of a drama. Both of these teams have hurt me so many times throughout the season. Tipping them, you're just like, surely they're due. They're either due, good form, home game, whatever it is. You tip them, bang, they let you down. So this one, in a way, you almost could look. I'm going to take the Finns though. Like I said, 1 to 12 in this one. I just think they're in a bit better nick. And he's coming off the bench, number 14. You never know, he might slot into the starting squad. But Trey Fuller, I think he just did dirty things last week. I think Manly are trash at the moment. And yeah, I reckon he's going to be able to get over no worries. Titans versus the Warriors. Yeah, this one's a little bit this one's a little bit tricky as well. I think the Warriors are gonna get it done, but I think it's gonna be close, and I feel like there's gonna be a lot of points in this game. So this one here being in the Gold Coast, like Gold Coast, you just don't know what you're gonna get. They've had a couple of shit weeks. It's rocks or diamonds with them. They're gonna put on 40 quick points, or they're just gonna get flogged. So this one, I can see a lot of points going on. They like to snag one at home. Big Tino's gonna be out there leading these troops around, like. I don't unless they go on some crazy winning streak in like the last 3 weeks, they're pretty much toast when it comes to the wooden spoon. So they're going to be fighting for their wooden spoon rights at this stage. They do not want to be in that place. So they're going to have to step up. Keanu Kearney's in at 14, which is huge. Yeah, I do think the Warriors 1 to 12 in this one. I'm going to go with who do I think's going to score in this one? I'm going to go with Keanu Kenny, actually. Hopefully, he gets a little bit of time. It's going to be great to see him return out there. Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to go with him to cross over anytime. But I selfishly do want them to lose, though, because, again, Broncos cracking in the top four would be nice sort of stuff. Eels versus Roosters. This one I feel like is going to be a little bit of an interesting matchup. In saying that, I'm going to go with Roosters 13 plus. I just think they are warming in like crazy at the moment. Eels are just, I don't know, hit and miss. They got some good combos, whatever else going on. But the Roosters, they're doing the right stuff at the moment. Like Sammy Walker coming back in has been huge for them. I think it's really turned things on. Teddy is just cruising. I think at this stage, honestly, he might have overtaken Isaiah Katoa for Dalian, which is just wild. You got a dude that's getting left out of the Origin team and whatever else, and he's just like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, no worries. I'll focus on Clubland and fucking kill it. Lucky the Broncos put a bloody silver bullet in them to start the season off, putting 50 on them because I'd be I don't usually get nervous before I'm starting to stress out type of thing a little bit about the Roosters. And Daniel Tupou, he's out. That's okay. They're bringing in another Tupou, so replacing Tupou with a Tupou. 188 centimeters, no profile picture on the NRL website. Thank you very much. You best believe that I'll be taking him anytime, sometime this week. So that's pretty interesting. Now, on to the main event, at least for myself and for Tom, who again is absent in this one. Knights versus the Broncos. Now, on paper, we should piss this in. This should be thank you very much for the 2 points. We're gonna smash you the fuck out of yours and really work on the for and against to make sure we get right up in there. But it is one at the same time that does like slightly scare me with Broncos just having that like ability to play to the other team's level where, if the other team's shit, guess what we're going to do? So, yeah, shout out to the United Bar as well. I hope you boys come ready because I think we're going to be here sucking and fucking and ready to absolutely put you down. At least that's how I hope it goes. So yeah, Broncos obviously 13 plus. I think Stags is just in an all-time mood at the moment and just going to cross over, leave palm prints and chest left, right, and center. So I'm going to go with him scoring. But yeah, just really hope we don't shit the bed in this one. We need to pick up these easier ones because we've got Knights. We got Cowboys, and then we run into the Storm. So we can win this. Like it's a whole lot of planets aligning, a little bit of woo woo crystal sort of shit going on. But Penrith lose, Wars lose, bang, we're in the top four if we get this done, and that's exactly where we need to be. And I love it because I'd finally get to go to a fucking home game for once in my life because everything's sold out at the moment. Thank you very much. I'll be wrapping up and getting a massive membership next year, so I don't need to worry about that. And then the last game, this one, shit show, but maybe good show. Could be a lot of points. I think it's going to be an interesting matchup between the Titans versus Cows. And in saying that, when you say interesting, it doesn't get more interesting than a Tigers home game at Leichhardt, aka the Bermuda Triangle, where anything can happen. I feel like these teams as well, I forgot if it must have been 2023 or whenever it was, where they just flogged the fuck out of each other. Like they went kind of back and forth. I feel like there's a little something there. And I can imagine these Tigers players really turning up in front of a home crowd and looking to give it to these Cowboys. I'm going to go with them 1-12. But yeah, I'm just writing Cowboys off. They've got their tickets all ready for Mad Monday. They're going to Bali. They've got everything sorted. Their season's over. They know it. We all know it. Tigers though, I think that we're going to see some pretty flashy footy. It's going to be sold out, no doubt there. And I think points are plenty because you've got Tigers again, playing flashy footy with a team that basically leaks like a sieve. So, 1 + 1 = 2. Points are points. It is going to be huge. And I'm going to go with Taruva anytime in this one. Oh, yeah. And Sharks lose to the bye. Alrighty. That gets me through now to the multi, the bet of the week, the slap of the week, the punt of the week, however you would like to put it. I've said it a few times. Our track record has not been the most exceptional. We had the bit of Vegas going on. That fell flat on its face. Maybe next year, but this week I would like something juicy. So I've gone 4 legs. Anytime try scorers. I got Alex Johnson because I think due, 3 tries off the record or whatever it is. Easy money for him. Polar for Manly Seagulls. He can't stop scoring tries. Ben Meat Pies Talty. Huge. He's going to cross over and just slam the ball down. And then what else have I got? I think that might be it. That might be it. Little, sorry, not 4 legs, 3-legger. 23-14 on Sportsbet. Thank you very much. Obviously, there's going to be a lot rolled in on Ben Talty there. I'm going to be so sad if he gets up and another one gets up, and it's just like an AJ that lets me down. But yeah, that's pretty much me for this week. Hopefully, Tom's going to be back next week. Again, like, subscribe goes a long way. We're nearly there. And then you know what comes after that? The dreamy summer of cricket. So get your fucking balls out, get your sandpaper out because we're coming laters.